It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. I am Candace Gish, and, I'm so excited. We almost missed our introduction for this program because I was excited. I was talking with our amazing guest for today, and it's amazing when you're able to chat with somebody like my guest coming up. She is absolutely extraordinary, and I can't wait for all of our new listeners to get to know her. But if this is your very first time tuning in, thank you so much. The Divas That Care has been having podcasts out there now for 10 years, and we currently have 15 hosts on our program. So make sure you check them out at divasthatcare.com. Well, I'm so excited, everyone. I'm going to be welcoming back an extraordinary, amazing woman. I just think she's just absolutely extraordinary. And she's got some great things that are happening in her life, and I can't wait for you to hear all about them. So, Eileen Castanella, welcome back to the show. I'm so excited. Yay!
Yay, Candace. Oh, my goodness. What a great introduction. Thank you for that.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you back. It's so fun to come on the program. But before we kind of dive into everything that you're doing, would you mind kind of reintroducing yourself to maybe some of our new listeners?
Yes, absolutely. So I wrote a book last year called Heal Your Past and Live Today, and it's a book about having higher consciousness. And in this very crazy time that we're going through, Candace, right now, so much uncertainty. It's a great, it's a small book. It's really something that they get to work through on their own time. So it's somewhat of a workbook on how to stay positive and keep positive thoughts in the midst of all the chaos and negativity going on around us. So that's the book. And so I've been a family therapist for over 20 years. I'm a high-performance coach, and I help women leaders to step into their highest potential and how to become a woman that's untouchable in the business world.
And you definitely do that. You're absolutely extraordinary. There is so many people that you work with, and you're doing so many great things. But what you're really doing, too, I feel, is that you're promoting positivity in the world. As you said, there's a lot going on out there, and I think a lot of people kind of are getting stuck, and they don't even realize they're getting stuck. And having amazing women like yourself going out there and showcases, no, we don't need to be like that. We can be strong. We can put good in the world. We can up our vibration. So I love it. I absolutely love it. And right now, recently you started your own podcast, and I would love to hear more about that.
Yes, so absolutely. In the time that we've been in quarantine, what I decided that I was going to do with a friend of mine, Annette Comer, is we created a podcast called Achieve and Thrive, and it's where leadership meets authenticity, and it's helping women leaders to step up their game, to step into the authentic self that they are, so that they don't feel like they have to be in a man's world and act like males, like a man, that they could actually step into their feminine self, and they could be their best, beautiful self while still leading, being strong. I know now more than ever our world needs strong leaders. And who better than women who have already done this in different areas of their life that are ready to make a big impact in the world. And so we created a podcast. We've got 6 months recorded. We started launch last Monday. It's called Achieve and Thrive. It's on all the different platforms. We've had great reviews. And I'm really excited because, like you said, Candace, we can't. This is not a time to fall. This is not a time to trip up and stay in and just stay small. This is a time where we get to step into our genius, our leadership roles, and teach women that it's okay, in spite of everything that's going on around us, that we've got to be our best selves and to create a world around that, whatever that is, whether you're a mom, an entrepreneur, business owner, a C-suite executive, whatever that is for you. And so encouraging more positivity in the midst of all of this. I just feel like this is a big test, and we get to decide whether you're going to fold and you're just going to stay whining and feeling like the victim, or are you going to step into creating something massive in spite of everything that's going on around us?
Oh, my goodness, I couldn't agree more. And how important, I know that you work a lot with women, but people are probably thinking, well, I don't understand. How does that even work? You know, like, don't we usually just portray ourselves? But I think as a woman, you know, being an entrepreneur for the last, oh my goodness, I was going to say, I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, and things have changed. And it's hard to explain that to people because some people don't see that change and that evolution of what we've gone through. Can you kind of share a little bit about that? Because I think it's really important for people to understand that, and especially our younger generation that are now tuning in.
Well, absolutely. So it's very interesting, Candace, that you're bringing that up, because this is something that happens at whatever age level women are in. And this is not just about women. This is about men also, because we're helping women and men how to have the best kinds of conversations, how to still step into and be the leaders that they can be while still keeping who they are without feeling that they've got to become something else, or else they're not going to get the promotion, or they're not good enough, or their business will shut down. So it's really helping people accept who they are, what they are, and to step into becoming better. And I know that the way things were done before is that we were just always doing. We were just trying to follow a manual. And it didn't mean that the manual was correct. It just meant that there was something out there that we had to follow. And it's interesting that in this last, really the last 6 months, I've been able to step out of that myself and take a look at what have I learned from all the different coaches that I've worked with and hired in the past, and what worked for me, and then what is the piece that I don't want. And it's interesting, I made a very powerful list, which is a lot of the stuff that we speak into at the Achieve and Thrive podcast, which is how to keep yourself accountable, but more than anything, how to sustain that accountability, how to sustain the positivity, the positive energy, the high vibration, the higher consciousness. And so it was a very freeing experience when I realized, well, I don't have to do it like all the coaches. I don't have to be what they're telling me that I've got to do. If I don't do things a certain way out there, that I will fail. Because we can be pioneers. We can lead and create our own. And I think that's what we get to do. We get to, I love what you do. I mean, just going on this podcast, the energy that you bring in, I could tell that you're smiling and that you're happy and that you're joyful doing this. And I love to bring that out in people, is that they get to spend the rest of their lives speaking into and creating their purpose, but being passionate about it, not looking at it as like, oh, wow, I got to go to work tomorrow. I hate my job. So I think we're coming out of that, Candace, and really stepping into a life that is more joyful, right? Yeah.
You know, and it is. We're all changing. We're adapting. We're evolving. Yes. I think as individuals, as a society, we've all had to figure things out. And I love it. You know, I've never lived my life in a box. I've always lived myself outside the box. And I see more of that all the time. And it just, you know, it's scary. I know it's intimidating, but it's so almost freeing to know that, you know what, I can do this. I can reinvent myself. I can be who I was meant to be.
Yes. Yes. Isn't it a beautiful feeling, though?
It is.
I love it.
I get it.
I love to sit in it.
I get giddy every day.
I think
know. It's awesome.
I know. Yeah.
So, okay. So I want to talk about, we're going to be giving that information out about your podcast, but how can a person get a hold of you if they're wanting to do some coaching with you? Because you do a lot of coaching, and I know that you do live in Miami and that you do also go to New York. Do you do a lot of your coaching one-on-one? Do you do it face-to-face? Or do you do a lot of stuff online? How do you do your stuff?
So right now, because of everything that's been going on, I've been doing more Zoom calls. So most of it's either a phone call or it's on Zoom. And yes, there's still opportunity. I don't take a lot of one-on-one clients, but I do a few, because a lot of the work that I do is through immersions. So they're weekend immersions. And those are, it's interesting, because now we're trying to figure out how we're putting those together. We would love to get a group of no more than 10 women at a time and do something outdoorsy, so that we're still respecting the social distancing, but we're also giving the women the experience, because there's something about being connected and together in a room or in a space that makes the transformation so powerful. But
and I think people are missing that too, right? Because we haven't been around people. I know that I was interviewing another lady, and it's like, you miss that connection, and I didn't realize it. Yeah. And I was so thankful that I had, we had adopted a dog right at the beginning of all this. And I'm very thankful because I have gotten in my cuddles, I've gotten in my hugs, but it is so hard because when you're used to being out there and you're talking with people and being around people, you get that energy from them. And now we don't have, and to be a part of those events that you do host, I think would be extraordinary, but it's sad that you can't do them at the moment.
Right. So we're looking at probably just picking everything up by the beginning of next year. So for now, we're doing a lot of, like I said, we're doing Zoom calls, interviews, bringing people to be aware of the podcast, the messages that are going on through that. And like I said, I'm still doing some one-on-ones. And how people can reach me is through my website, which is the www.eileenc.com. And they could always create a conversation or a call. And we get on a call. And usually the work that I do, I want to make sure that we're a right match for each other. And so there is an interview process before that happens. And I love the women that I get to work with, and I see their transformation. And men, too. I've done a lot of work with men in the business space, helping them take their businesses to the next level. And what I love about working with men is that they're very good about doing their homework. Women, sometimes they lack a little bit on that. But, I mean, you tell them what to do, and they're very linear, so they'll, for the most part, they'll make sure that they turn in their assignments on time. So it's an interesting dynamic, right? Working with women and working with men, it's so different. And it's there's no wrong or right. It's different. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous. And to all of our listeners, too, you definitely have to check out her website because she's got a blog. And the blog is great. You know, I always said the last time we had talked, you have butterflies everywhere. And I thought, what a beautiful thing to do, because that's all about change. And I think it's quite inspiring. I just always love the photos that you put with your blogs. And for the listeners that didn't know about your last show, can you tell them why you decided to do that?
Well, everything that has to do with butterflies for me represents transformation, and I feel like that's been my purpose all along, even as a therapist, was always to help people elevate and become better versions of themselves. And it wasn't about looking at what diagnosis you have, how do we put you in a box. On the contrary, all the work that I've ever done throughout my career over 20 years has been to elevate, propel people to want more, to want to extend and expand themselves. So it's always building people up. And even children, when I did work with children as a family therapist, it was always making sure that they were becoming better versions of themselves and being aware, because it's so important, Candace, when we recognize, well, like that's who I used to be and that's who I am now, and that we get to celebrate. Because so often what happens is that we're just looking for more and trying to reach for something greater, and we miss out on our own celebrations.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. I love that, because I think it is so important. We definitely don't do it enough, and I think especially as women, we don't do it enough. You know, we're always been the caregivers. We're always the ones that are doing things for others, and we don't think about ourselves. And I know for myself, it's taken me many years, many years to spend time with myself, to just have those moments to walk away and say, you know what, I just need this moment. I need to regroup. I need to figure out who I am. And it's a difficult thing, and especially for all of our listeners that are even moms of younger children. I know that it's a very difficult thing, because I have 4 daughters. I know what it's like to have little ones around, and you don't even remember. I always say that those are the days that I don't remember, and I'm like, I know that I didn't spend time with myself, because if I can't if those days are all clumped together, how did I spend time for myself?
Wow, Candace, I didn't know you were a mother of 4. I am too. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know where those days went, and I know that self-care was definitely not on my agenda back in that day.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Time just flies by. And so it is. It's really important for all of us to do that, to have that time for ourselves and to recognize the accomplishments that we've had, because, you know, we don't realize how far we've come. Like you probably think too, it's like what I've done in the last year alone. You know, I have my books out there. I have my podcast. I have all these things, but we don't think about that. We think, okay, what is the next thing we need to do? And I think living in that moment is really important. I know that through the last couple of months myself is I've realized to take those deep breaths because I can't be running around and leaving for sporting events and doing things. I have those moments now that I have, oh, yes, look what I've done, or look what I'm going to be doing. And it feels so empowering, I think, for myself.
Yes.
I feel that anyways.
Yes. So something that I recommend to our listeners today is meditation. The meditation practice is something that I live by, and I feel that that has helped me not only to step into my purpose and being very aware of what it is that I'm creating, but also to silence my mind and quiet my mind from all the noise. And I know there's a lot going on, especially the times that we're living now. So definitely meditation, Candace, whether they do it at night before they go to sleep or in the morning to start the day. Even if it's 5 minutes, and it could be as simple as just closing your eyes, putting some nice music, and breathing, and just being very connected with your breath. And so my book, Heal Your Past and Live Today, the affirmations inside are all meditations. And so I'm creating a platform now where I will have a meditation series that I'll be launching that goes with the book. So, because I some people like to read and do the reading aspect, but some people really just like to disconnect and tune into the meditation. So we're creating that now and putting that together.
Well, I can't wait. You'll have to share that with all of us because we'll post that all on our social media so that all of our listeners can check that out.
Awesome. Thank you.
I love it. I just love it. I love all that you're doing. I'm just so empowered and inspired by you. I just think you're an extraordinary woman. How can our listeners listen to your podcast? I really think that it's important for them to check that out.
Wonderful. So it's Achieve and Thrive is the name of the podcast, and it's on all the platforms. So it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on Google. So if they type in Achieve and Thrive all together, one word, they'll find us. And it's Eileen Castellano, and Annette Comer is my partner.
Oh, yay. Well, I can't wait to follow that because I think it's absolutely extraordinary. I think for all of our listeners, you need to go out and check out this podcast, but you need to check out all these amazing podcasts out there, and really be inspired. We need to hear that happy stuff. We need to hear the good news and the good things that are happening in the world and get those vibrations up. There's too much negativity out there, and we really need to change that. And I think by doing that, we start by listening to programs like yours. So I am excited to share that with all of our listeners today, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time just to do that and share that with me.
Of course, Candace. Thank you. You're the first podcast that I get on and I share because it just launched literally last week. So thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, it was so awesome. One last thing I want to ask you, if you don't mind, is there any other tips or tools that you'd love to share with our listeners before we end the show?
Well, I want to leave everybody with the idea that you matter. Your dreams matter. Your visions matter. As much as people sometimes will tell you, oh, why are you doing that? I know that when I was writing my book a couple of years ago, everybody around me was like, oh, but you don't need to write a book. Like, why would you do that now? Like, your kids are all grown. You've got a great career. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why would you want to do this? And I had to, Candace. It's something that I've been wanting to do my whole life. So many times we listen to the people around us, and you want to be aware of who the source is that's giving you the advice, because sometimes it's just that they don't understand or they don't see your vision. But it doesn't mean that your vision isn't good enough. It doesn't mean that your vision isn't important. So I want to remind our listeners to stay true to their dreams and their visions because they really matter.
I love that advice. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I can't wait for you to, come back on our program again. I love having you on here, and that when you're sharing all this exciting news with all of us. So come back and share some more with us in the future.
Absolutely. I love what you're doing, Candace. Thank you so much for this platform and for reminding us women to be our truest selves and have that vibration and hold that vibration. I really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. I love it. Thanks. And I love all of our amazing listeners, too. Yeah. You know what? It's when we connect with one another. And with our listeners, because as I said, 10 years, I can't believe how the time flies. And it's just because of all of you guys that have supported the Divas That Care movement that we have extraordinary women like today's guest. So thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate everybody. And I hope that you check out the Divas at divasthatcare.com. And until next time, please do something kind. Take care.
Wonderful. Thank you, Candace. Have a beautiful day.
Bye-bye for now.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.